All right. Good morning and welcome. Let's have a quick
Go get him, John.
thank you, Mr. What is that? Okay. That's Mr. AI assistant, if you will. Okay. So let's go ahead and have so welcome. Today, I want to share with you something I've been carrying my whole life, and I'm just discovering what that was. Um, First, let's have a quick simultaneous sip. Grab your coffee, your matcha.
I'm listening. Keep going. This is
Okay,
good.
okay, you know what? I appreciate the fact that you're listening, but I need you to stop now. Okay, that was just my AI assistant again. You got to make sure you control these dudes. All right, so, um, so what are you surviving? Could it be like a boss, a conversation with somebody you're surviving and just want to finish up or get out of, or tell your side of it? Maybe it's a boss. Maybe it's a team call, an executive you're talking to. Maybe it's a friend, somebody you have a little beef with, and just not sure that you want to really say what's there for you. So I want to share with you something last night that came up. I was on a call with one of my best parasocial friends. His name is Chase Hughes, and Uh, he was talking about not having the words to put to a feeling that you have. And he said sometimes the English language just isn't adequate for something that is going on. And you know it's there, but you can't express it. And he said you can look to other languages to see what some of those words are. And he said, just go back in your childhood and think of a situation that you knew something was off, and something you just kind of lingers with you, something you may be ashamed of, and you just don't know why. And I went back to my. He asked me that question, and I went back to something that I just didn't want to talk about or even admit because I think, hey, I mean, this is a high class problem, I think. But it was a feeling that I got when I was a kid. It was, you know, when I was in junior high, had several people, good friends, and be around a lot of, classmates, and a couple of guys be like, "Hey, there's Rich Boy John. There's the rich kid," and I felt separate. Like them saying that, there was like this distance from me and them. And as a human being, I think the last thing you want to be is not in the tribe, right? And when that happened, I really felt separate from the tribe when that was said to me, and I kept remembering that. And then what the strategy that I came up with to get out of that was to make myself look bad. I didn't want to, feel like I was above or below anybody, and I would do stupid things. I would like play the clown, and really anything to get somebody to feel sorry for me so that I could connect. um, and I learned that really that smallness, that struggle, was the price of admission for me, and I never could put a word to it. And so Chase talked about a couple of words. The first one is called huzun. It is a Turkish term. It's Huzun. It's like who's zooming who, the Aretha Franklin song. But that's what I came up in my mind right when I heard that word. But huzun, and what it is, it's an inherited ache. It's more of a family layer type thing, and that's what I felt. That there was something with my family. We were you know semi wealthy. We had wealth in our lives financially, and there was other things that was not so wealthy. And I felt that kind of like ache that was there, but I couldn't express it to anybody, especially because I thought it was kind of shameful. Like I shouldn't be feeling this way. Like I've got a good life, materially. And it's really my, you know, our family had the looks and, you know, the things that go with, you know, your father having a good career and profession. He was a doctor. And so it was kind of like, hey, they must not have any problems. But um, there was something about my way of being around that. And, you know, it's like I didn't think we were enough because there were other families that, quite frankly, had plenty, and they also had not just the material part, but they also had that connection and that closeness and that caring. And not that I didn't have caring, but I'm saying like I just noticed something different. Um, and so it was something that I just never I quite had. So I carried the Huzun with me all my life. It was just something there, that personal ache. And, um, you know, it's kind of like always feeling adjacent to greatness because I had a lot of people around me that were great, great at what they did, you know, great athletes, great academics, um, you know, people who were really making a difference for others. And a lot of friends that were that way. I had one of the, in athletics, one of my best friends is one of the top people in the country at his sport, and even at a young age, and always right below him, and feeling like, you know, oh, couldn't get there, or maybe my family's not good enough, or you know, I didn't have the structure, I didn't have the brothers this person had, and you know, that's why I'm not this way. But there's another term that Chase talked about, and it even goes a little deeper, and it's called soldade, soldada. That's what it is. Soldada. It is a Portuguese term, and what it means, it's more like a personal ache. And what I felt like was, you know, I wasn't smart enough around people, maybe not athletic enough. And I know that sounds maybe just selfish. To me, it does. And I'm getting that Sudade right now. Like, don't say that. That's stupid. Like you know, you have plenty. You had plenty. And it was more a feeling of like, when I would be in a room later, going into high school, going into college, or even in my profession, going into a room and pre like preempting a class, or excuse me, the feeling of a preemptive collapse, like that thing's going to come up again. I'm going to get small, and I could not put a word to that, and that's what they came up with. And Chase said, you know, find those words. And I went to AI and chat and I started talking to it about some terms in other languages that describe this. So I could describe that feeling and really, you know, Chase said, hey, once you do that, just start being aware of it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to fix it, because that's what I want to do. If something's wrong with me, let's fix it. And it wasn't about that. It's about first the awareness, of that small feeling like that. You know, here's the deal. It's like a circuit. It would be like feeling separate or above somebody, like, you know, other people. I wouldn't be connected with them because I felt like, you know, I wasn't in the tribe because I was perceived as this. Um, and so the gap, it would be like feeling separate, and then there's shame about that separate, and the shame about the gap, and then I'd make myself small, and then I would earn a connection with people, through sympathy and through something I did wrong or bad or screwed up, or you know, just, what would I say? It's really staying small to stay safe, and that feeling I carried with me most of my life, and just until now, recently, I had an experience. Uh, a personal experience where it just came up, and it was in business, and I'm in sales on a pipeline call with some executives, and I'm one of the leaders, and I'm supposed to be, you know, sharing what we're doing and what we're doing to create the movement and the motion, and you know, how the teams are performing. And what I saw was I was ready for the call, prepared, ready to go. I knew what I was going to say. I got in the call, and all of a sudden that little boy John, little Johnny, he's going to come up and say, no, 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 you're not going to get through this. Like, you better survive this conversation. And so I started being real aware of that, but I didn't know how to. I thought I was trying to change it. Like, something's wrong with me, something's not right here, and it's me. And that is that sadudad, saduda. And I'm just discovering this right now, because this is something that's held me back my whole life and not making a difference for people. And that's what I've always wanted to do. One of the uh, biggest things in my life that I discovered was that I love helping people. I love making a difference. And I'll give you a quick story, and then I'll leave it at that. But when I was in out of college, got my first job, great job doing medical sales, and I was back in my hometown, and I decided to do some volunteer work. It's like a United Way Foundation. They had something called a loaned executive, and you would go out and do things, present the United Way to companies, and they would contribute. The people of the company, the teams they had, would contribute either money or time, and you basically are enrolling them and helping people. And one thing I did extra, or I just felt pulled to do, was to go down to the United Way Resource Center in Amarillo. And when I went down there, I would just work the front desk. People would come in with problems, like real problems that I didn't have, and I would try to steer them towards the resources or find out what the United Way had, and share that with them. And then this one day, a woman and her brother came in, and she came up to the desk and she's like, "You've got to help me. You've got to help me. My brother just interviewed out at this meat packing plant, and he can't get the job because he's got a heart condition, and he needs some medicine, and he needs to get a physical, but we can't afford it. Like, and he's got to get this paying job is great for him." And she was desperate. I mean, he hasn't had a job in a while, and he needs this. And I was like, oh my God, how can I help this person? Like, United Way isn't going to do a medical exam for this person. And it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, you might be in luck. And I stepped away from the desk. I got on my phone and I called my dad's office. I said, got my dad on the phone, got him out of a patient room, and said, "Dad, listen, I've got a guy that is trying to get a job at the meatpacking plant. He doesn't have health insurance. He doesn't know what to do. He's from a low income family, and he just needs a job." I said, "Can you see this guy? He has a heart condition. He needs to be put on medicine. Can you just see him?" And in that instant, I heard that hesitation, and I thought in my head, well, I know he's busy. He probably can't do it. There's that, small little boy. He's not going to listen to me, that type of stuff. But he said no. He goes, "Okay, John, send him down about 4 to 5 o'clock when I get through seeing my patients. I'll see him." So I turned around to that lady and I said, "This may be your lucky day." I said, "I just happen to have exactly what you need." I said, what I want you to do is I want you to meet me down at my dad's office at 4 o'clock. It's down at the Medical Plaza. And your brother can see my dad. He's a heart doctor." And she was like, "Oh, praise Jesus. Oh my God. I just can't believe this is happening." And I thought, either can I. And so we went down to my dad's office, and it was 4:30, and I ran into the office manager, and he's like, your dad's busy. Like, I said, "Hey, I get it. We'll wait." And so at the end of the office, the last patient walked out, and my dad walked out and, signaled to us. And the guy went back. My dad did an exam, and he needed to be on cholesterol medication. And he got all the paperwork that he needed to go back to this job and show them, and also show them that he got on medicine and was able to do that. In that instant, when I saw his sister's face, and he looked at me and she looked at me, I knew that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to help people in real need. And that instant right there has stuck with me all my life. And every time I help somebody, every time I connect and I'm present and I think this person's going to be able to do this because of this. I might be a catalyst, but this person's going to be able to get what they want in life. And so just that instant right there is an example of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing in coaching people, from executives to young sales professionals to dads that just want to be a little better in their life and how they're communicating with their wife and even the kids. So what I saw was pretty much anything is possible. Anything. But you got to be present for it. You got to be in the conversation. But for me, I've discovered something that is one of the keys to my life. And my question to you is, what is that feeling? What is that thing that you have that you can't describe, but it's there? And you've been surviving it. You've been surviving it and doing okay. But you know that there's just that next level. There's just that thing that you can do. What is that? So that's what I got today. I'm going to kind of follow up on this next time. I want you to think about that. Put it in the comments if you have a situation, and even go and look up a word. Maybe it's a word in another language. Heck, use AI. I went and used Claude, an AI agent I have that I built to coach me. And it helped me really dig down to see what that was. So the two words that I came up with were huzun and soldado. Soldadu. Soldada. And I'm going to be looking out for those this week when that comes up. Notice that little boy. Oh, there he is again. And just be aware. And, from there, I think things change. All right. All right. Just wanted to try and make a difference. I hope that made a difference for you. And I hope that, this week you notice something, that you see something that's possible because you can put another word around it. All right. Good to see you. Let's go out and make a difference. See you.